Hi, welcome to the vlog. I left it a bit late to record this one, so I'm doing it in the dark. We're currently at Lincoln, so this is Brayford Pool behind us in darkness. So in the last vlog, we travelled up to Alvechurch, up through the Tidy Big Flight, and when we arrived there, we thought if we don't like it very much, it was late December, if we don't like it very much, we'll just go back down to Stoke Prior for Christmas. But little did we know we were going to go into lockdown almost immediately, and so we ended up staying at Alvechurch right through from late December to early April. But as it turned out, we really liked it there. It was a smashing village. Yeah, so we spent all the winter really at Alvechurch, and we had snow in late December, which was quite picturesque to see. And we saw local families and kids playing on their sledges in the field. It was nice to see that. Kids enjoyed themselves in the snow. But we were also frozen in for 3 times, about 2 or 3 days at a time. And on one occasion we were getting really desperate for water, and the canal had thawed where we were by the mooring. So we decided to head down to Tidy Big to get some fresh water and to empty our cassettes and get rid of some rubbish. But we'd only just left and gone around the corner, and it was thick ice. So we were desperate to get some water, so we decided to plough on through it. But the noise and the sight of the fraction of the ice was quite spectacular. And it's not really to be recommended because it can strip the paint off your boat at water level. And if you've seen the vlog that we did when the boat came out of the water for blacking, you can see on the front of the boat where all the paint's been stripped off when we went through the ice. Yeah, so it's not a good idea. And also you've got 14 ton of boat pushing broken slabs of ice, and if there's any smaller craft in the area, especially the fiberglass ones, it could do them some damage. So it's not really recommended. But as it turned out, there were no vulnerable craft where we were, and we were desperate for the water, so we went on through it. The locals are great at Alvechurch. Many of them walked their dogs and took the daily exercise on a circular route which included the towpath, and often some stopped for a chat. And it's a lovely village. It's down from the canal, so you go down the hill into the village. There's a fish and chip shop, there's a good co-op stores, a chemist, and there's 3 pubs which obviously were all shut because of the pandemic, and there's 2 butchers. And we walked to this particular butcher's most Fridays to get our Saturday morning breakfast of bacon and black pudding. As in previous lockdowns, we weren't allowed to move only for essentials, and for us that meant on a weekly basis moving for fresh water, empty our toilet tanks, and to get rid of our domestic rubbish. So this involved either going down to Tidy Big, which is about 2 miles, back down the canal, or up through Alvechurch to a place called Hopwood. But the Hopwood water point was frozen for 6 weeks, so mainly we were going down to Tidy Big. But yeah, and quite fortunately, in either direction, there was trees fallen, which was ideal for us. So when we were going for water, we were stopping on the way. I had my chainsaw out and we was chopping some slices up and then putting them on top of the boat. And when we got back to our mooring, I was chopping up with the axe, and yes, we had a plentiful supply of wood throughout the winter, and we kept very warm with our solid fuel stove bearing away pretty much 24/7 for most of the winter when we was at Alvechurch. So whilst in the area, I decided to take a look at the Royal Enfield factory as it is now, which was at Redditch, not too far from Alvechurch. So Royal Enfield produced motorcycles and bicycles at its Redditch factory until it closed in early 1967. But there's little remains of the factory now, just this brick building you can see here. But there's also what was known as factory number 8 in Studley, but that's now a really nice private residence. So we actually did quite a lot of walking while we were at Alvechurch, taking our daily exercise as we could. One long walk took us up through the Licky Hills, up through quite a lot of woodland and parkland to reach a viewpoint at the top with some terrific views over Birmingham. And when we was going up through the woodland, we saw this amazing machine which grips hold of tree trunks and cuts them to size. It's quite an incredible piece of kit. We also did our daily walks up around Cobley Hill, this route you can see here. And then we had another walk for when we had post being delivered. We went over to the post office in a neighbouring village of Barnt Green. So after lockdown restrictions were lifted in early April, and just before the local hire fleet took to the water, we decided to move off from Alvechurch and continue our journey to Birmingham. 11 miles, no locks, but a very long tunnel, the West Tunnel, which takes us through from the rural area, and when you get out the other side, you're actually into really like the suburbia of Birmingham. So it's quite a stark contrast in landscape from one end of the tunnel to the other. So once we'd gone through there, we went past the junction of the Stratford Canal and then on to more up at Bourneville, which is famously where Cadburys manufacture their chocolate. And this marks the end for us of our route through the Cadburys factories. So starting in Frampton-on-Severn on the Sharpness and Gloucester Canal, where they made their chocolate crumb. They shipped from there up through Gloucester, Worcester, the same route we've taken, past the Blackpole factory near Worcester, and then on to Bourneville. So Bourneville village was built by the Cadburys to house their workforce. There were schools, a Quaker meeting room, churches and all manner of sports facilities for the use of residents. It's a model village and very community orientated, and it remained largely as built due to the planning control of the Bourneville Village Trust. So loyal and hard-working workers were treated with great respect and relatively high wages and good working conditions. And Cadburys also pioneered pension schemes, joint works committees and a full staff medical service. And whilst we were there, sadly Prince Philip passed away, and the school bells at Bourneville chimed in commemoration of his life. So leaving Bourneville, we cruise on through Kings Norton to the Edgbaston Tunnel. and then on into Birmingham via the 90-degree bend of the mailbox before mooring up at Gas Street Basin. Although there are reminders all over Birmingham of the industrial past, being a motorcycle enthusiast, I just had to find the old Norton Works at Bracebridge Street. So I've dragged poor Kay halfway across the town to see it. The building is still there, where the world famous motorcycles were produced between 1920 and 1963. At least there was a memorial plaque on the wall which commemorated the building of the motorcycles in that building, but I'm not sure that Kay was too impressed. So that's it for this vlog. I hope you've enjoyed watching it, and Happy New Year to everybody. The next vlog will be from Birmingham on the old main line going up to Tipton, and then turning there and coming back down on the new main line. So it's quite a contrast between the two, so that's quite a good one to watch. So yeah, thanks very much for watching this one, and if you've enjoyed it, please like and subscribe, and see you again next time. Thanks very much. Bye.